Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. All right, we're going to start with this picture again from Space Porn on Twitter. It's a small melangenic cloud captured by Hubble. That looks like a bunny rabbit to me. Don't you guys think that looks like a rabbit? Yeah. Okay, believe it or not, this is going to be a short video. I haven't done like a short video in a long time, but yes, it's going to be short. But to the point, you guys know how I feel. So let's just jump right in there and get there, shall we? Let's go. All right, my friends, we're going to start off. It is Princess Beatrice's birthday. She is 34. I always liked her, I really do. And we're just going to take a few pics of her through the years and take a look at them, shall we? Here she is being walked out of the hospital with her mom and dad. Here she is walking to the hospital with flowers for her new baby sister. We all know who that is. Here she is heading off to private middle school. Here she is at her graduation in 2011. She looks so much like her mom. Yeah. Okay, then here she is through the years. She's got great style sense. She's very pretty. And I have to tell you, and I've told you this a gazillion times before, she looks just like Princess Victoria or Queen Victoria. But look at that photo. She is stunning. Not that her sister's not pretty, but she is stunning. I'll tell you something else, and I've told you this before multiple times. You've heard me say this. She hit the jackpot with that husband of hers. She really did. I like him. Now, normally I'd be like, I'm sure she's upset that her dad didn't get to throw the kind of wedding for her that her sister had. But I have to tell you, this young lady seems to be such a humble person that I think she probably preferred this nice, low-key, quiet wedding instead with all the, instead of the big one with all the cameras. I think this was more her style. So happy birthday, Beatrice. Love you, love your husband, and I love the fact you're not in the pockets of some people. All right, moving on. All right, next up, we already know that they held back Prince Harry's book because they didn't want it to compete with the Obama's book. And of course, they needed to refute things that were put in the Bauer book. But now with Valentine Lowe's book coming out and some of the other books coming out, it's going to be competing against other books of the royals. I got to be honest, I just don't think his book is going to do well. That's my honest opinion. Seriously, we can all guess. Seriously, what it's going to be about. Poor me, poor me, poor me. I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. And now the word is out that Meghan is actually helping write it, that she fired the ghostwriter. I don't know if that's true, but is her handiwork going to be in there? Of course it is. All right, let's move on. All right, next story that we're coming up is the fact that they've had to move Kate to the front cover of People magazine because apparently the ones with Meghan aren't selling so well. Do I believe that? Absolutely, I believe that. I think people in the United States are getting sick of her. I think it's going downhill quickly for them, and so they've decided to use Catherine on the cover. At Meghan's birthday, I might add. That's a slap in the face. All right, moving on. All right, this is going to be our last story before we move into the main story of this video, which is about misinformation. I showed you guys the other day about that gentleman who was shot and killed out in front of his home. He was a ranger to help stop poaching, and the Success Squad actually had no sympathy for his death and equated his death with the way the royal family supposedly treated Meghan and Archie. Okay, so anyway, to make a very long story short, William is now encouraging the support of organizations so incidents like this won't happen again. And he said before that more than 1,000 Rangers were killed in the last 10 years and they need their support more than ever. I completely agree with that. Now, this Ranger that was killed, his death happened the same day that the new drive was launched by one of William's longest running causes, which is Tusk, to help find more Rangers. You have to wonder about that. The Wildlife Ranger Challenge brings together more than 100 Ranger teams from across Africa in this year's multi-million fundraiser, culminating in a half marathon on September 17th. There will be some mental and physical challenges, a new mini challenge for ranger teams with canine units. And Tusk is one of Prince William's key charities, which he adopted in 2005 after graduating from the University of St. Andrews. Good for him. All right, here's the main thing, the main topic that I want to discuss today. And it's just quite frankly, the fact that Harry and Meghan are supposedly the king and queen of fighting misinformation online. But we also know that they are the king and queen of misinformation. And an article came out that was very interesting. But before we get to that article, I want to show you a few examples of the trickery and the misinformation that they're talking about. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at that. And we're going to start off with this Hello Magazine article that just came out. Now, this article came out, and we've all seen it, and it was talking about Meghan's super intense boxing workout, and it's just going to leave you exhausted, and it's just, the best workout, blah, blah, blah. We've all seen this, right? And then this picture went up. Now, let me tell you guys, I'm not going to hold this against Meghan. I'm not, because maybe she doesn't know that the magazine did this, although I would be shocked that they would do this without her permission. But what I am going to hold against her is the fact that she has not put out a statement that this was a Photoshop fail. Why hasn't she said something? Then we have the whole police protection debacle where he told everybody that he had offered to pay for his own protection. And of course, we found out later on that that was an abject lie. Then we have the court documents that she signed where she said that she had nothing to do with finding freedom at all. Now, you guys know how she dots her I's and crosses her T's and she keeps control of everything. She's a control freak. There's no way that she forgot that she helped with this book. She lied and she got caught perjuring and said, "I'm sorry," to the court. "It was not my intention to mislead." But we all know it really was her intention to mislead, right? We all know that. Then, of course, we have the messages from Harry, it turns out, where he said, we have to be able to say we didn't have anything to do with it. But he knew that they did. So he was lying to change the public perception. He was putting out another lie, misinformation. And their misinformation goes past lying to courts and trying to keep themselves out of trouble. It also extends to pictures that they put out. The pregnancy photos where everything in them was photoshopped, starting right off the bat with the tree that was behind them. And then when you took this picture and you turned it, and you zoom in, you can clearly see that's Meghan's head photoshopped onto somebody else's body, and Harry's hand isn't even touching her head. Then we had this Photoshop picture. Once again, the tree was added. Meghan's got like 7 toes on her right foot. Everything is photoshopped. It's not real, and that counts as misinformation. They're putting out fakery. How many of you remember this photo where they photoshopped hair onto Harry's head and made his eyes super blue and made her hair thicker? It's all photoshopped fakeness. I did a video on this, remember? Watch this.
The first picture, which really gets me, because remember, they don't like misinformation. Look how heavily photoshopped this is. The two of them don't even look like each other. And Harry looks like he was added after the fact, right? Like, how weird is this photo? For those who don't believe it's photoshopped, yeah, there's Harry's head, there's Harry's hair. Yeah, not even close. Heavily photoshopped. I think everybody has seen that. I mean, yeah, okay. Let's not put out any misinformation.
Now, one of the biggest Photoshop fails was their Christmas card. Do you guys remember this? About this card, the baby was supposedly born in June 4th to be exact, and this photo was supposedly taken over the summer. So she would have been at that point maximum, if this picture was taken the end of August, which I don't believe it was, she would be 2.5 months old, and that does not look like a 2.5-month-old baby to me. And if you guys have any doubt that this was a photoshopped picture, look at Lily's right hand. She only has 3 fingers. And look at Meghan's thumb. Look at the base of the thumb, and then look at the top where it comes out supposedly under the baby's arm. A very bad Photoshop fail. Also, Harry has had his hair photoshopped again. The man is as bald as William is. We've already shown that, but for some reason, they keep photoshopping his hair on. For those who say that's not true, here's some proof. It's also pretty obvious that the kid has been color corrected, his hair has, because there's no way in heck it's the exact shade of Harry's. You know what I'm saying? And here's what I'm talking about. Here he has straight, dark hair. Here he has thicker, slightly wavy brown hair with a little red tint. And now here he is with the exact same hair color as Harry. Photoshop City. One other little Photoshop problem. Look how long they made the baby's legs. They stretched her legs so that you would see her feet underneath Meghan's arm. Diana 2.0 strikes again. Then Harry and Meghan put out this picture supposedly of their daughter, except it's so photoshopped. Her pierced ear has been pixelated out. You can look in the mouth, the teeth. It's been photoshopped. The kid has no legs. More fakery, more mistruths. So the reason we're discussing all this is because this article just came out, and we know that Meghan is being sued by her sister Samantha because Meghan said during the Oprah Winfrey show that she grew up as an only child. And of course, we found out later on, per her attorneys, that was obviously not meant to be a statement of fact. It's not subjective, or it's not objective, it's subjective. So of course, we know that Meghan said a lot of things in that interview that were all proven to be lies. The wedding ceremony 3 days later, all of this stuff. So what is going on that she keeps lying all the time? But don't misunderstand, this whole woke lying thing isn't just her, it's Harry too. When Harry flew to Amsterdam to promote the eco-travel campaign, his was just one of 114 private jets that landed there. Harry was very upset when a journalist asked him about his private jet setting, and he said 99% of my flights were commercial. Actually, 60% of your flights are private, he's informed. And his response, no one's perfect. And then a few days later, he and Meghan flew by private jet to go to the wedding of a close friend. There you go. Okay, another example, when Harry and Meghan flew to Elton John's house in the south of France, he said, it's okay, we planted trees to offset the carbon footprint. So a journalist asked him where and how many trees. And you're not allowed to ask that. Apparently he became very upset. So whatever he says, you're just supposed to believe the truth. So here's the thing. When Harry says that 99% of his flights are commercial, that's his truth. That's a subjective belief, not an objective thing. You see what I'm saying? So these two are constantly spewing information, and it's their truth. The problem is it's not the truth. It doesn't take a genius to look back on what's going on. Okay, let's go back to the Oprah interview. Meghan said she was forbidden by palace officials from seeking help because it wouldn't be good for the institution. But we already know Harry had been in therapy for years. Princess Margaret had a shrink. She had a mother that was a counselor. She had her own handpicked medical team. She didn't go anywhere. To think that these two ridiculously wealthy people could not have simply gotten in a car and driven to a therapist clinic is a joke. But the truth of the matter is, Meghan felt neglected by the palace officials, even though she hadn't been. But that's her truth. You get where this is going? The point is, these two are the least truthful people. They just want you to believe their version of things. So the point of this article is, do you guys think that Harry and Meghan are victims of a monster machine of racial hatred? Or are they exaggerating the problem to get greater cultural clout in the Black Lives Matter era? Do you really believe they were overwhelmed by racial threats, or they overwhelmed the palace with demands that they wanted critical commentary taken down and it didn't happen? Do you truly believe that Hillary Clinton responded to an 11-year-old, a copy of a letter that nobody can find, and even Hillary Clinton won't respond on whether she wrote to her or not? Meghan herself said, and I'm quoting, life is about storytelling. It's about the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we're told, and what we buy into. And we have the right to create our own truth about the world, she says. Yeah. Again, your truth is not the true. There you go. So I believe that the misinformation started at the same time that Harry and Meghan got engaged. And I think it started with this. Listen to this.
Amazing job, just getting in there, and it's the family that I suppose she's never had.
So what I'm simply saying is, because that is the exact same thing that Trevor said at their wedding, the family she never had, that I believe Meghan was lying to Harry. And I think Harry at this point still knew the difference between truth and a lie. But I think this is when Meghan started bending him to believe that whatever they said was the truth. That's my opinion. And of course, people put up comments. You have to wonder what Meghan said to Harry to make him say that. And now it's a family you never had too. Good point. Also pointed out at the bottom, guess she didn't want your family either. Spot on. All right, you guys, I want your comments. What do you think about Beatrice and her fabulous husband? I just love them. What do you think about all the misinformation that Harry and Meghan put out in statements and in photos when they are claiming to be the champions of misinformation? Make sure that you put your comments down about that. I'm going to want to see them. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you've already done so, double check and make sure you are still subscribed. Don't forget that you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.